Hi, my name is Isabella Lopez, and this is my GC2Y final presentation. So for this project, I wanted to interview my grandfather, Adolfo Lopez. He was born in Havana, Cuba on December 26th of 1953, and I'm planning on sharing 3 stories that he told me, and then afterwards I'm going to be analyzing how his stories connect to class concepts, how I think they're folklore, and then why I think these stories are significant. So here's the first video.
As a matter of fact, what happened was on my first birthday, um, my mom had my birthday along with my brother's birthday. Okay? So she would have the 2 cakes, one for me, one for my brother. We each blew our candles, and the whole family was there, all cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody was there. Okay, fine. And then this went on, you know, every year. And I really didn't like it. I felt like it was my day. I
Mhm.
didn't have to split it with my brother.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, my mom said, it was the two brothers, and they're so close together in birth. Well, why have two parties when you have one? And fine. But then on the third or fourth year, I said, that's enough, no more. So when it came time to blow the candle, what I did was I took my fist and I smashed the cake. Okay, and then I got up and left. And that was my saying goodbye to the joint birthday parties. From that time on, we each had our birthday on our birthday.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a good way of stopping it. Like on the third or fourth birthday, I said, no, no more, no more. So I was waiting. What do I do? What do I do? What? So I said, I know what. So I just took my fist. I figured that would be a good time. I'll get the attention.
Mhm.
Because they're waiting for the boy to blow the candle, right? You know, and that was it. That was it. So mom, they were all upset, because I disappeared. I left. And I don't know when I came back. I don't know. It must have been late. But everybody was gone. Everything was done. All the party was done. And of course I got in trouble. But I didn't care. As a matter of fact,
Alrighty, so when analyzing this clip, there are 2 things that immediately stood out to me, and that's tradition and food waste. In this class, we learned that tradition is defined as the process of dissemination and transmission of culture that shows continuity over time and space. Having a birthday cake and a birthday party are both traditions and learned behavior. So having a birthday cake can also be considered a foodway tradition as it's a custom that's seen different cultures around the world. And it could be that as he's getting older, he's seeing birthday cakes to commemorate one person, and this is what causes him to be upset as he's having to share this with his brother. And then something else that I found really significant about this clip and what I really liked about it is probably his animated style of speaking. And this exemplifies oral tradition as it's used to capture the audience's attention for telling stories in this case. Here's my second video.
if we didn't want to eat, because sometimes she made something that's called harina. It's
Mhm.
it's like corn.
Mhm.
It's a it's a dish that usually poor people eat that. Okay, which is it's just hard corn that's been boiled with some salt.
Mhm.
Okay, and that's it. But people love that, and but I hated that. People ate it with condensed milk or eggs or whatever. I didn't like that stuff, so I didn't. So my mom says I will go like if I'm gonna throw up, and my mom will say, "Okay, go ahead, throw up. Go ahead and throw up. Because after you finish throwing up, you're gonna have another dish. So enjoy it. Go ahead and throw up. You'll have another dish." And she meant it. So I had to hold on and then not throw up. Just go ahead and finish eating it. Because my mom, she's always been great with us. But when she said no, It was no. She was firm.
Mm-hmm.
She was loving but firm. Okay, and she still.
So within this second
If you
video, something that really stood out to me was how he described and associated eating harina with something that poor people eat. And this is a human cultural trait of classifying people based on their perceived wealth. He associates eating harina as something that poor people eat, and therefore this could also play a role in him not liking the food. In addition to this, on the PowerPoint on foodways, it describes food as reflecting, expressing, and enacting values, which are both openly attested to and privately held. So his mom's response also is something that sticks out to me. And this is essentially saying that if he throws it up, he's going to have another meal to eat. And this illustrates the use of a proverb. So proverbs are a common form of folklore, and they can reveal and support a culture's morality, values, and attitudes. And then the last thing that stood out to me again in this clip was his use of gestures and his animated style of speaking. Alrighty, here's the third video.
but apparently the baby wasn't coming, and she said, "It's not your winter time. I
Mm-hmm.
want to spend the time with my family." That's a big deal.
Right.
So with the food and getting together with the whole family, his brothers, sisters, nephews, whatever. And mom says, "I'm not missing that. I'm not." So she said, "I'm going home," but the doctor says, "No, you can't." And she said, "Well, yes, I can't. And I'll sign whatever paperwork has to be signed, and I'll leave." So she signed the paperwork and she left. And she went home and she spent Christmas dinner or Nochebuena with her family. She ate the pork and the beans and everything that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, and the night after the first late at night, she began to have pains, and that's when they had to take her back to the hospital.
Right.
That was on the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then uh, I was born on the 26th.
Wow.
Yeah, and people said I was 10 pounds when I was born.
Big baby.
Big baby, right? So mom says that they took me, the nurses took me around all the rooms in the hospital just to show me off because I was such a cutie. And then she showed me around. As a matter of fact, I have a picture of my birth, of that day that I was born. I have a picture of it in my wallet right now, and I'll show it to you later. But anyway, that's when my dad wasn't there, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was late, and they were closed because when I was born, I was like in the middle of the night or something like that. And my dad couldn't go in. So what he did was he jumped the fence, okay, and while doing that, he ripped his pants off, all because of the
The glass.
of the glass. Okay, so he came to the room to see me or my mom rather, and his pants were all shredded, but he didn't care, you know. But he came over to see his baby, and he did. But I I remember that because my mom always talked about it. My dad coming in, all with pants all shredded, with because having jumped the fence in the hospital. That was.
Alrighty, this one is my favorite of all
But
the clips.
apparently,
I think this is such a funny story, and um, I think that it can also be used as oral tradition in the sense of her telling this story throughout the family or to the family over time. And probably there's like slightly different versions of it, but the main idea of the story is there. I think it's also just quite like a random thing that also catches the attention of the audience as well to be like, oh, his pants were all shredded up on when he came into the hospital to see his newborn baby. I think it's just an interesting story in that regard, and that's one reason why I chose this clip. But the main thing I want to talk about for this last clip is Noche Buena, which is a holiday that's celebrated in a lot of Latino culture. The way that my family likes to celebrate is to have everyone meet in the family probably at someone's house, typically my grandfather and grandmother's house. Everyone likes to dance and then listen to music. And then for food, what we typically have is a whole roasted pig, which is served along with rice and beans. And then the night ends with my great grandmother giving the Noche Buena speech. And so she'll just talk about Jesus and how he is the reason for the celebration. Although we have heard, and I think when I was younger, we went to midnight mass as well. But this is an example of folklore because folklore is not static and it evolves and it adapts to changing circumstances and contexts. This can also show unstandardized multiple variation as while the core elements of Noche Buena remain consistent, variations and adaptations do occur based on different factors, like for example, our individual family traditions in this case. And these variations contribute to the richness and diversity of folklore associated with Noche Buena. And in this video, my grandmother talks about how she did not want to miss Noche Buena, even though she was about to give birth. And this can show how much importance the holiday has to her. But yeah, I wanted to thank you all for listening to my presentation and have a great rest of your day.